Keep yourself in the loop of everything football on the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. The latest news on and off the field, be it college football, Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, Pac-12, ACC to the NFL. We've got you covered. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
All right, and welcome to the GSMC Football Podcast. This episode is brought to you by AdamandEve.com. If you go to AdamandEve.com and type in the promo code football, you'll get 50% off just about any item in the store. Once again, I'm your host, Jesse Tapia, and for today's show, we're going to talk some Monday Night Football, what a blowout that one was. And then after that, for the next segment, we'll talk about the NFC. Just pretty much, when I say talk about the NFC, I'm just going to pick a few teams and just give my thoughts on them. It might be some good thoughts. It might be some bad thoughts. So we'll see. We'll do the same for the AFC in the third segment. And then in the fourth segment, we're going to do news, notes, and anything interesting going on in the NFL. We'll actually talk about some college football in the last segment too. So let's get it started. Miami went into Carolina for Monday night. Miami looked like a pee-wee football team out there. I'm just going to be straight up with it. Miami just terrible. 1-9 in their last 10 primetime games. Carolina's now 4-1 in their last 5 Monday night games, I believe. Carolina won it 45-21. Let's do some stats, and then I'll get into the scoring summary. Actually, you know what? Let's do the scoring summary right now, and then we'll do the stats. Yeah, let's do it different this time. All right, so scoring summary. First quarter, Graham Gano kicks a 40-yard field goal that made it 3-0. Second quarter comes, Christian McCaffrey scores a touchdown, made it 10-0. Julius Thomas then scored a little shovel pass from Jay Cutler, which made it 10-7. And then Miami's looking good. They're looking good. Yeah, the defense is holding a minute. And then Miami gets the ball with 49 seconds left in the first half. And then boom, Jay Cutler turns into Jay Cutler. He throws a nice little interception right to Luke Kuechly. Don't know why or how you didn't see him, but yeah, there's Luke Kuechly. Intercepts that. Carolina capitalizes with a 7-yard touchdown pass caught by Ed Dixon from Cam Newton, which made it 17-7 at the end of the first half. Then third quarter comes, Devin Funchess catches a 28-yard touchdown pass from Cam Newton that made it 24-7. Cameron Artis-Payne just adds on the pain. Miami adds on to the Miami Dolphins pain. It's a nice little pun right there. Made it 31-7 after a touchdown from him. Then Kenyon Drake scores a 66-yard touchdown, which made it 31-14. Christian McCaffrey caught a 2-yard touchdown pass from Cam Newton, which made it 38-14. And Carolina was not done after that. They just kept piling it on. And I don't blame them. Devin Funchess had a 32-yard touchdown pass from Cam Newton, which made it 45-14. And then boom, garbage time. Jarvis Landry caught a 9-yard touchdown pass from Jay Cutler, which made it 45-21. So yeah, final score is 45-21. Let's get into these stats. Jay Cutler, 213 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Kenyon Drake, 7 carries, 82 yards, 1 touchdown. Kenny Stills had 5 receptions for 67 yards. Jarvis Landry had 5 receptions for 42 yards and a touchdown. Cam Newton, 255 yards through the air, 4 touchdowns, took off with the ball 5 times, had 95 yards. Jonathan Stewart had a really good game, 17 carries, 110 yards. Devin Funchess, 5 receptions, 92 yards, 2 touchdowns, and Christian McCaffrey. Let's see, running the ball, he only ran the ball 5 times for 23 yards. He had a touchdown there. And then he had 3 receptions for 27 yards and caught a touchdown pass. So an overall, all-around good game for him. Ooh, sorry, I got these allergies again. All right, now we're back. But yeah, really good game from Christian McCaffrey. Let's say some good things about the Panthers before I say a lot of bad things about the Dolphins. But yeah, now the Panthers are 7-3. I was really I'm not gonna lie, I've been really down on the Panthers. Just boom, Cam Newton's not that good so far this season. Their offense is really weak. The defense is what's keeping them in it. I'm sorry, Carolina Panthers fans. I'm sorry for saying bad things about your team. Carolina's 7-3, and And you know what? They're half game back. New Orleans in the NFC South currently got the 5th spot in the wild card right now in the NFC. Carolina is a good team. I'm going to say it. Cam Newton, he's starting to play like a good quarterback. I'm going to say this about Cam. He's not an accurate quarterback throwing the ball, okay? He's at his best when he can run it because, he's at his best when he can run the ball. When he can't run the ball and he's pretty much just forced to throw the ball the entire time, he's going to struggle. You're going to see him miss throws, okay? Early on in the Monday night game, you saw that probably the first quarter. Man, that game was a huge blowout. But like I said, I'll get a little bit more into Miami later on. But yeah, Cam Newton, you saw Miami was doing well to keep him in the pocket. I mean, he wasn't getting sacked or anything like that. But yeah, like he was just missing a couple of throws. His receivers dropped a couple of balls. But once Cam Newton, once he starts to get out the pocket and starts taking off with the ball, you got the defense, their backs are on the wall, are on their toes. They don't know what's going to happen. What's Cam going to do on this play? What's he going to do on the next one? You're not really sure because he's a dual threat. So when Cam's able to have the defense just guessing the whole time, that's when he's at his best. I think he did that a lot in his first few years, and then the last couple of years, I don't know if it was just to protect him from injury, but the Panthers started limiting him taking off of the ball, and that's where you saw last Cam Newton he's an odd quarterback. Like I said, when he's a dual threat, boom, good quarterback. When he's just a passer, he's average. But I really like how Carolina, how they're playing right now. Like I said, they're 7-3. I really didn't expect them to do too much after they traded away Kelvin Benjamin. I was really down on that trade. Now they're looking like a team whose offense got better after getting rid of him. And now they got a 3rd and 7th round pick from this upcoming draft out of that. So, I mean, this is why I'm in the chair talking through this mic, talking about the game, and those guys are out there making the moves and making the team better. It's just, I don't know what I was thinking as far as Carolina goes, and actually, this is gonna be a show where, you know what, I was wrong about a lot of things, and I'm gonna give some teams their props, so it's gonna be a fun one. But yeah, like I said, right now Carolina's 7-3, half game back in New Orleans. Let's see who Carolina's got up next. They got the Jets, that's another win right there. It's 8-3. Then they got the Saints, that's gonna be a fun one to watch right there. And then they got the Vikings right after the Saints. So some really tough games after the Jets. Then they got the Packers, that's a winnable win. Then the Bucks and the Falcons. So their 2 toughest games are against the Saints and the Vikings. I guess the Falcons, have been pretty disappointing so far this season. They're 5-4, but they can beat the Jets. They can definitely beat the Packers. I have no doubt in my mind that they'll beat the Bucks, and then they can beat the Falcons. So Carolina has a good chance to see. They can go 8-3. Then let's call the Saints one a loss just because it's 8-4. Then we'll say let's call the Vikings one a loss to 8-5, Packers 9-5, Bucks 10-5, and then the Falcons, they can go 11-5. So even if they were to lose those 2 games against the Saints and the Vikings, I still like their chances making the playoffs. There's really no reason why they shouldn't make the playoffs. I'm just giving those 2 losses right there just to see how they would end up even at the end of the season if they were to win the rest of them. And I don't honestly think that they're going to lose. I think they'll go 1-1 in that little 2-game stretch right there against the Saints and the Vikings. I think they'll be able to pull it out against the Vikings. You know what? I'm not sure. I'm not even going to make predictions right now. Let's see. I'm not even going to get ahead of myself. I'm getting all excited about it, but let's see how they do against the Jets. And then once we're at, it's going to be week 12, I believe. Yeah, once we're at week 12, we'll see where the Saints are at. We'll see what the Panthers are at. After that game, it'll be week 13. And then we'll see where the Panthers are at once again. We'll see where the Vikings are still at. So, yeah, I'm not even going to get into that. I'm getting all excited about it. But, yeah, as of right now, Panthers, offense is looking good. Luke Kuechly, he's back. He's playing well. Thomas Davis is just pretty much... How long has Thomas Davis been in the NFL? I'm not even sure. But he's out there still doing his job. The secondary's been playing all right. The defensive line pretty much caused problems for Miami's offensive line the entire game, but who hasn't? And, Carolina right now is just looking like they're looking like a good team. I'm not going to hype them up too much and say that they're on the Saints, Phillies level, the Rams level, or Vikings, because I don't think they are yet, but they're getting close. As for those Miami Dolphins, let me give you guys a nice little stat right now. Last 10 primetime games, Miami is 1-9. Dolphins fans, there's no way they can look forward to before I even get into that, you know who they got next on primetime is the Patriots on Monday night. Let me see if that's a home game. That's going to be a brutal one for them. Let me see. What do we got going on here? Yeah, I think it's they play the Bucks next, then the Patriots. Let's see. Yeah, it's gonna be, they got the Bucks, then the Patriots, then the Broncos, and then they got the Patriots and Miami on Monday night. So good chance of going 1-10 in their last 11 primetime games. This team, their season's done. It's over. Don't overthink it. Okay, they might have a chance of beating Tampa Bay next week, and if they do, they'll be 5-5. Don't even overthink it. Okay, Miami's offense is just, it's terrible right now. That's just putting it nicely. I'm trying to be generous with them right now. Miami's offense is terrible, okay? Their season, I'm sure Miami fans were really hopeful once Jay Cutler, when it was announced that he was going to be coming in, because Adam Gase and Jay Cutler, they're boys or whatever. Jay Cutler had his best season with Adam Gase, and you know what? All Jay Cutler did coming into this season for Miami was just have Adam Gase dummy down the offense so much to where the Panthers, anyone. Like I said right before I got into the game, Miami looked like a peewee football team against the Carolina Panthers. I don't even know if I said that. I might have said it on the sports podcast. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, Miami looked like a peewee football team against the Carolina Panthers. Okay, the defense couldn't stop. They couldn't stop anything. They couldn't stop me running through that hole if the Carolina threw me out there. And I'm only exaggerating a lot, but yeah, Miami has just been a terrible offensively. The offense is what's been holding them back so far this season. Okay. Last season they had a decent offense with Tannehill out there, and how is it that with one guy missing, the entire offense goes down? If it was going to be this bad and Adam Gase knew that he was going to have to dummy down the offense for Jay Cutler, he should have just had Matt Moore play out the rest of the season. What do you have to lose with Tannehill not out there, okay? Obviously, your starting quarterback's out, the guy that led you to the playoffs last year. I know he tore his ACL towards later on in the season, last season, but you know what? He's the reason why they even got there. So why even bring in a guy like Cutler? I mean, everyone's saying, oh yeah, he knows the offense. He had his best season with Cutler. Well, obviously something wasn't right, because he comes in and the offense just goes down. It's literally, not even exaggerating right here, it's literally screen pass on first, run down the middle on second. If it's 3rd and 10, you're going to see a halfback draw, okay? If it's 3rd and 5, they're going to run an underneath route, and it's probably going to hit Kenny Stills or Jarvis Landry, and that's going to be that 3rd and 3 and out right there. Miami's offense has just been brutal so far this season, okay? I know the defense played really bad Monday night, but before that game, they were number 10 in total defense. So, I mean, it's just the offense is what's been killing them. And you know what? I'm going to say this right now, okay? If Ryan Tannehill does not tear his ACL again in training camp, or I'm not even sure if he re-tore it or just completely tore it, but I know he didn't get surgery after he slightly tore last season. If Ryan Tannehill does not tear his ACL, you know what? Jay Ajayi is probably still on this team, and Miami is not in the spot that they are in right now. And I know this is all hindsight and this is like what if, but I'm about 99.9% positive. I can't be 100% positive because you never know, okay? But I'm 99.9% positive that if Ryan Tannehill does not completely tear his ACL in training camp, none of this is happening with Miami. Jay Ajayi is still one of the best running backs. Well, he is, okay? Yeah, he's still one of the best running backs even if he's in Philly, but he's still the starter for Miami at this point in the season, and we're not even talking about how Miami's season's over. It's crazy how one player's injury has pretty much changed the course of the team's season. And I guess we shouldn't be too surprised because it is the quarterback. But I know before last season, Brian Tannehill was a player that the Dolphins fans either loved or they hated. The majority, I'm sure, hated him, and the minority probably loved him. But now that you see what the team is out there with Jay Cutler, what they're like with Jay Cutler out there, even Matt Moore, I mean, Matt Moore is able to he can make some good throws, but he's been a backup quarterback his whole career for a reason, okay? He's a good backup quarterback. If you need him for a few games to finish off the season, he could do that. He showed us that last season, and that's how they still got into the playoffs. I'm still going to give credit to Tannehill for them getting into the playoffs because he had a career last year. But, yeah, I mean, it's just ridiculous to see how much this offense has just gone down with Tannehill going out. Jay Cutler was missing easy throws yesterday, too, in that Monday Night Football game. Early on, he overthrew Devontae Parker when Parker was running towards the sideline. I think it was an in route he was running. I can't remember exactly, or an out route. I can't remember. It was an in route if he's on the far side of the field. It's an out route if he's on the near side of the field. I'm not sure, but he was just missing throws, underthrowing the ball, overthrowing the ball, just not being accurate at all. He had that costly interception, which pretty much killed the game at the end of the first half. So, Miami, their season done. Okay, they have a chance against the Bucks. They're not going to beat the Patriots. They got a chance against Denver, Buffalo. They got 2 games against them. Those are going to be tough, and then they got the Chiefs. So this is pretty much a throwaway season for Miami now. Adam Gase I don't see him changing anything with the offense. Adam Gase is his own worst enemy because of how stubborn he is. Okay, you're not going to see Cutler. I'm talking to Miami fans right now. You're not going to see Cutler get benched or anything like that. Okay, Cutler's going to be the starter for the rest of the season, and Adam Gase is just going to try and force something to work that we all know that won't. So we'll see how the season plays out for them. It's not looking good. I'm going to say that the season's over for the Dolphins. Carolina, their season's just getting started. It's looking bright for them. So that's all I got to say about those teams, two teams right there. And that's going to be it for this first segment. Next up, we're going to talk about some NFC teams. Going to say some good things. Going to say some bad things. But yeah, so it's going to be a fun next few segments, so stay tuned and we'll be right back. Hey, are you looking to spice things up in the bedroom? Have you been fantasizing about surprising your lover with an adventurous new toy or adult movie? Well, AdamandEve.com has an offer you're not going to be able to resist. If you go to AdamandEve.com and for a limited time only, you'll get 50% off just about any item. But that's not all they're offering. Oh no. When you select your one item at 50% off, you'll also receive 3 free adult DVDs, just in case you need that little inspiration. Plus a free extra gift so sensual, I can't even mention it on this podcast. And to top it all off, they're even willing to throw in free shipping on your entire order. And we all know how we love that free shipping. And no, they're not kidding about any of this. So check out AdamandEve.com today for this special offer. You'll get 50% off one item when you type in the promo code football for the offer code upon checkout. When you do that, you'll get 3 free DVDs, a free extra gift, and that free shipping. Again, just use the offer code football. That's FOOTBALL at AdamandEve.com. Again, that's FOOTBALL football at AdamandEve.com. All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Football Podcast. If you missed that last segment, skipped it, or just need a quick reminder, I recapped that Monday Night Football game. That was a huge blowout right there. Once again, Carolina won that one 45-21. They're currently 7-3. Miami's 4-5. Their season's done. Carolina's is looking bright. As for stats and all that other stuff, just go ahead and check it back out if you need a quick reminder. But for this new segment, we're going to talk some NFC. I'm going to pick a few teams. I'm going to look through them, and then I might say some good things. I might say some bad things. So let's just get into it right now. First off, let's start with the Minnesota Vikings. Before I even get into that, I want to apologize to their fans and to the team. Not that they care, but I wasn't ready to give them their respect. I wasn't ready to put them in the same tier as Philadelphia, New Orleans, or the Rams. And I actually picked Washington. I think it was on Friday's podcast for the football podcast on Friday. I actually picked Washington to beat Minnesota. Not sure what I was thinking. Let's see. Yeah, against Washington, they won 38-30. Case Keenum had 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and Minnesota is a team. They belong with New Orleans, they belong with Philly, and they belong with the Rams. They belong in that conversation. Right now, they're 7-2. They're going to win their division. I have no doubt about that in my mind. And like I said, right now they got Teddy Bridgewater. He's pretty much in the ranks, just waiting for his time. But you know what? Just keep going with the hot hand in Case Keenum. There's no reason to have him come off and be the backup. No reason to bring Teddy Bridgewater in. I know Mike Zimmer has been pretty much week to week about it. He hasn't really been giving like an answer after games on Sunday. Literally no reason to throw Teddy Bridgewater in there. We all know he's a good quarterback right now. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Case Keenum, not broke. Don't even try to fix it. Leave him out there. Okay, the team is playing well. Stephon Diggs is out there playing well. Adam Thielen is finally getting the respect he deserves as a receiver. He's one of the better ones in the league, probably top 10. And yeah, just as far as the Vikings go, that defense has been lights out so far. They've been lights out for the last 4 or 5 years. 4 or 5 years might be overstating it. Let's go 3 or 4 years. Yeah, 3 or 4 years they've been lights out. And it's just, this team is really fun to watch right now. They let Adrian Peterson go this season and are in the offseason, and it's pretty much everything's worked out for them well so far this season. Right now they're the number 2 seed in the NFC. I know most people don't like to do this, but hey, if the season ended today, Minnesota's got a first round bye. So yeah, right now they're in a good spot. They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to win their division. And you know what? They'll probably win a game or 2 in the playoffs. Let's see. Yeah, if they were to, I'm not even going to get into it. Okay, yeah, Minnesota, you're a good team. I'm sorry for even doubting you guys. Jerick McKinnon has done well since Dalvin Cook. Ooh, that one hurts because That guy was a running back. He was just on fire as a rookie, and just imagine how much better they would even be with Dalvin Cook out there. It's just a shame that he tore his ACL. But yeah, Minnesota, good team right now. They belong in the conversation with Philly, New Orleans, and LA. Let's see. Let's talk about the Saints. Saints are no longer one of those throw it in the air type of teams. They are put the ball in the running back's hands, let him do what he wants with it. Okay, you've been seeing that with Mark Ingram, and you've been seeing with Alvin Kamara. I think Ingram had 131 yards and 3 touchdowns on Sunday against Buffalo, and they just simply destroyed Buffalo too. I was thinking, you know what, Buffalo, we'll talk more about Buffalo in the next segment, but I was thinking, you know what, it's going to be in Buffalo, it's going to be a close game. And I was wrong about that too. New Orleans and the best part about this whole blowout was that Drew Brees didn't throw for any passing touchdowns, and he only had 184 yards in the air. So he had a really good. Not even a good game. Drew Brees, I don't even know what to call it. Drew Brees even had a rushing touchdown. If you need any more evidence as to why or how this team is a rushing team, let's see Alvin Kamara. He had 12 carries, 106 yards, 1 touchdown. That guy is just fun to watch. And Trey Edmonds, is his name Trey? Let's see. I'm pretty sure it's Trey. Let me double check it. Yeah, Trey Edmonds. Don't ever want to get someone's name wrong. But he had 9 carries, 48 yards, and a touchdown. So right now the Saints, they're 7-2. They're competing with Carolina right now for the division. Carolina's currently 7-3. But right now it's kind of odd to see the Saints are starting to shift. Actually, yeah, this Saints team is just completely different from what we've seen. We've always known the Saints as a team who constantly throws the ball, and Drew Brees is going to lead them, and he's going to win in spite of their defense. Well, you know what? The defense has been playing really well this season, and like I said, it's not Drew Brees leading them anymore to wins. I mean, yeah, Drew Brees is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I'm not even trying to take anything away from Drew Brees. I'm just trying to say, you know what? Their offense, it's a run the ball offense right there, and it's working out big time for them. They're a run the ball, play defense type of team now. And it kind of hurts because I got Michael Thomas on my fantasy football team, and I really need those touchdowns from him. But you know what? If it's working for the Saints, I can't complain. I'm just a fantasy football player, so I really don't got much leverage there. So yeah, right now, the Saints are playing really well. And let's see, who do they got coming up? They got the Redskins. That's a possible win right there. They got the Rams. I'm really hoping that the NFL decides to flex that one the Sunday night. Saints at Rams, LA would be just... I know the Rams in LA, they haven't had the best attendance, but if you put that game Sunday night, that's going to be a sold out game. The atmosphere is going to be great. So if NFL was smart, they'd flex that one to Sunday night. Hopefully they do. We'll see. Then the Saints got the Panthers at home. Then they got the Falcons, Jets, Falcons again, and then the Bucs. So Saints are sitting pretty right now. The 2 toughest games are going to come against the Rams and Panthers. Falcons can give them a little bit of trouble, but not really sure what to think of that team right now. But I'm really high on the Saints right now. Let's see, what other teams should we talk about? We could talk about the Rams, but we all know what the Rams are. They're doing their thing. Jared Goff is going to win Most Improved Player this season. They're 7-2. They're just they're averaging 33 points a game, around like a 33.5. So if you want to see, they're averaging about 34 to make it sound nicer, I could do that too. Todd Gurley's having a great year. Like I said, Jared Goff, he's going to win Most Improved. Robert Woods is the king of the LA Coliseum. He has all of his best games there. The defense has just been lights out. They're quick. They hit hard. They're a fun team to watch. Coming up, they got the Vikings on November 19th. Then they got the Saints. Then they got the Cardinals, the Eagles, Seahawks, Titans, and Rams. The Rams got a pretty difficult schedule going up forward. Like I said, the Vikings are going to be a tough game. The Saints are going to be a tough game. Eagles are going to be an extremely tough game. Probably their toughest one on the schedule right now so far. And then they got the Seahawks at home. That's going to be tough. Tennessee is a pretty good team. So I'm not saying that the Rams are going to collapse or anything like that, because they're not. They're going to make the playoffs. They're probably going to win their division unless Seattle picks it up. Not even Seattle picking up. The Seattle's been playing good, but right now the Rams are my pick for that division. I got to cough for a second. Thanks for bearing with me right there. But let's see, what other team do I want to talk about? Let's talk about Dallas. Let's talk about how I was talking up Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys, saying that for Zeke's 6-game suspension, they were going to go 4-2. They were going to play really well. Dak Prescott's going to show everyone that he doesn't need Zeke and that he can be a good quarterback without him. And... why, Dallas? Why did you do this to me? Why did you let me say all those things and then not make me look good when I was saying them? They lost to the Falcons 27-7. Dak Prescott only had, I think he only had 176 yards in that game. Threw 30 passes, completed 20 of them. He got sacked 8 times. So, I can't really talk all that down on Dak Prescott just because the offensive line decided not to show up for that game. I mean, Alfred Morris, he had 11 carries for 53 yards. Dak Prescott had 42 yards running the ball. He had a touchdown too. Jason Wynn had 7 receptions for 59 yards. Des Bryant had 4 receptions for 39 yards, and that was pretty much all that that was only notable. Everything I just said was pretty much all the notable stuff about Dallas's offense. Right now, after that game, they're kind of scaring me right now. Maybe they do need Ezekiel Elliott just to get that offense going. They got Philly Sunday night, November 19th, this Sunday in Dallas, but you know what? It's not looking good for them Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? How about probably 2 straight losses? I'm sorry, Cowboys fans, but it's not looking good right now. You got the Chargers after the Eagles, then you got the Redskins, the Giants, the Raiders. So you know what? Maybe those 2 losses are going to come really, and maybe they will prove me right, and they will go 4-2. But I didn't get to watch their game against Atlanta because I was doing other stuff. But I'm not really sure what happened with that offensive line. I'm not sure if there's someone hurt on there. I think there is. I think it's Tyron Smith. I can't remember exactly who's hurt, but for them to give up 8 sacks is really inexcusable. Last few years, we've been talking about how Dallas has the best offensive line in football and how it doesn't matter who you throw in the backfield, but if they're not going to be blocking, then they're not going to be winning games. So Dallas really needs to figure it out. Do not like their chances against Philly. I'll talk more about that game on Friday's or actually, I don't know if we're going to, I don't like their chances against Philly, against the Chargers. We'll see. Redskins, we'll see. Giants, they should win that one no matter what. Then the Raiders is going to be the last game of Zeke's suspension. So Dallas really needs to figure it out. They need to go at least 3-3 or else they're going to be in big trouble. Let's see what other NFC teams are noteworthy of me talking about. Let's just do a quick little congratulations. Congratulations to the San Francisco 49ers. I know I talked about them on Monday's podcast. They got their win. Let's see, who do they got coming up next? They're 1-9 right now. They got the Seahawks. That's a loss. Then they got the Bears. That's a possible win. Texans, possible win. Titans, Jaguars, Rams. All right. So, yeah, right now, I mean, it's just good for a team like San Francisco to get that win. I know that they're rebuilding right now, but you never really want to get your win this so late in this season. So, yeah, they finally got their win. The Giants, Bob McAdoo, yesterday they put out a statement saying that he's their coach for the rest of the season. Yeah, obviously. But it's looking like once the season's over, they're going to look at everything, the owners are, and I really don't like McAdoo's chances as far as staying till next year. So yeah, look for the probably sure the New York Giants are going to be looking for a coach after this season. Let's see, what else do I like? Mitchell Trubisky had a really good game on Sunday. Really liking how he's been progressing. I feel like he's been getting better as each game goes on. Let's see. Detroit. That's an interesting team to me right there, okay? Because I think they started off, they were 3-4, I believe. Let's see, what are they now? Let's check these standings. Right now they are 5-4. Yeah, I think they started off like 3-4. Or, I can't remember exactly, but yeah, now they're over 500, 5-4. Only 2 games back of Minnesota. I was talking like Minnesota was way ahead, but they're only 2 games back. I still think that Minnesota is going to be able to pull off the division, but I think Detroit, they might be able to sneak into the wild card spot. Let's see who they got coming up. Coming up, they got the Bears. That's a win, right? That should be a win. Then they got the Vikings. That's gonna be a fun one right there. If Detroit can pull that one away and they can beat the Bears before they face off with the Vikings, they'll only be probably a game back unless the Vikings. Let's see who the Vikings got next. I read off their schedule, but my memory's not that good, so let me double check. They got the Rams. So let's say the Rams beat the Vikings, and then the Lions beat the Bears. Lions are only a game back of the Vikings in that division, and then boom, they got a head-to-head game against the Vikings. And that game, if they win that one, they could be tied for the lead in the division. So, you know what? Detroit really needs these next 2 games right here big time. They need to beat the Bears. They need to beat the Vikings. Then they got the Ravens. That's a tough defense right there. Then the Bucks. That's a game that Detroit can win. Then they got the Bears, another winnable game. Bengals, another winnable game. Packers, another winnable game. the Vikings, or if Detroit wins these next 2 games, then you know what? Their chances of making the playoffs are really high for me, and I think that they will if they are able to pull out these next 2 games. We'll see how it all plays out. It's going to be really interesting to see. Right now, the NFC is actually looking like the better conference from the AFC. You got teams like Philly. You got teams like Minnesota, New Orleans, the Rams. Carolina's a good team. Seattle's a good team. Detroit's on the come up. So, you know what? You might probably going to see our Super Bowl champion from the NFL this season come out of the NFC. We're going to see, but that's all I got to say about the NFC teams right now. Those are the teams who caught my attention. Next up, we're going to talk AFC, but you're going to have to listen to some commercials. We all know how we love them commercials, but yeah. So next up in the next segment, we'll talk some AFC teams. Probably talk about the Patriots. Talk about Jacksonville, Buffalo. Probably talk about Miami a little bit more. And just pretty much anyone else that catches my mind. So stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red-hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's gsmcpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Football Podcast. We talked some NFC in the last segment, talked about the Vikings, talked about the Saints, mentioned the Rams, talked about Detroit and Dallas and San Francisco a bit. Also talked about the Giants a little bit, but for this one, we're going to be talking about the AFC, so let's just get it going. Let's see, who do I want to start off with first? Let's start off with New England, okay. They just destroyed Denver on Sunday night for the entire world to see. The Patriots won 41-16. And New England's starting to look like that scary team that's going to show everyone, oh yeah, we're going to win the Super Bowl again. So right now, Tom Brady starting to pick up his play a lot more. I know early on in the season, he wasn't throwing for too many touchdowns. He was leading close to the lead in yards, but now he's starting to be the complete Tom Brady. It looks like the running back, because there's always, every year, it's always a certain running back that the Patriots starting a lot more towards the second half of the season. Last year was LeGarrette Blount. This year it's looking like Dion Lewis. Glad I got him on my fantasy team. But yeah, he's starting to score a lot. He's starting to get the ball a lot more. So now you can start trusting those Patriots running backs. If you're going to pick up a Patriots running back, pick up Dion Lewis. That's going to be the guy going forward. Rob Gronkowski still doing his thing. Like I said, he had 4 catches for 74 yards on Sunday. And it's just the Patriots are starting to come full circle, man. They're starting to, I don't even know what to say. The Patriots are the Patriots. They're always going to be a team right there at the end who's going to be playing for the Super Bowl or the AFC Championship. Tom Brady is looking like he has a good chance at winning MVP. It's going to come down to him and Carson Wentz coming up. They got the Raiders, and they got the Dolphins, and they got the Bills, Dolphins again, Steelers. That's going to be a fun one. Then they got the Bills again, and then the Jets. So, I mean, the Patriots got a legit chance of going, let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. They could go 14-2 if they wanted. Probably end up 13-3, somewhere around there. 12-4 if they do slip up, maybe against the Bills or Dolphins or Jets. But a game against Pittsburgh is going to be tough. But yeah, they got a good chance of going 14-2, 13-3, one of those. So right now, Patriots are looking like the best team in the AFC. The Steelers faced off with the Colts this Sunday. Steelers won that one 20-17, and the Steelers got the same record as the Patriots. Let's see what the playoff picture's like. Right now, Pittsburgh's at the top of the AFC, and New England's right after them. But Pittsburgh just didn't impress me in that game against the Colts. They're probably going to see themselves. It's probably going to be New England versus Pittsburgh in the AFC Championship. Kansas City's a team. They had a bye this week, I believe, and yeah, it's probably going to end up being Pittsburgh versus New England in the AFC Championship. Kansas City, They're starting to, they started off really hot, but it looks like Kareem Hunt's starting to hit that little rookie wall, unless Andy Reid is the one who's throwing him through that wall, because now you're seeing Kareem Hunt get less and less carries as each game goes on. And Alex Smith is kind of looking like game manager Alex Smith, and I think that's everyone's favorite Alex Smith except for Kansas City fans. But yeah, as of right now, Pittsburgh, let's see, Antonio Brown didn't have all that good of a game against Indianapolis, but you got Juju Smith-Schuster who's stepping up big time. He's a really exciting player to watch. Martavis Bryant, Juju pretty much took over Martavis' spot. Martavis came back in the game. Let's see how many catches he had against the Colts. Can't remember exactly. I think it was maybe 1 or 2 catches. 3. Actually, I think he had 3 catches. Yeah, 3 catches for 42 yards from Martavis Bryant. Juju Smith-Schuster had 5 catches for 97 yards and a touchdown. He was the best receiver in that game. I know Antonio, I'm not talking about talent, I'm talking about production as far as that game goes. Antonio Brown only had 3 catches for 47 yards. He really needs to pick it up going forward. Le'Veon Bell played all right in that game. But, yeah, it's going to come down to Pittsburgh and New England, I think, in the AFC. It's going to be fun to watch. Fun to see how those teams, it's pretty much like let's see, what do I want to say right here? I think it's all safe to say that we all know that's going to end up being these two teams. The only reason why you wouldn't believe it is if you are you don't like the Steelers, you don't like the Patriots, or you're a Chiefs fan. Other than that, I mean, you can hold out hope on your team making it that far to the AFC Championship. But yeah, right now I'm going to go. It's going to be Pittsburgh and the New England. Those are pretty much the top teams in the AFC right now. No one else is really coming close. Let's see. Who else should we talk about? Let's see. Buffalo. Buffalo is starting to hit that Buffalo wall. Buffalo has this thing to where they'll start off to overachieve early on in the season, and once the rest of the season plays out, they'll just completely fall off. And that might be what they're doing right now. They got the Chargers next week, and then they got the Chiefs, then the Patriots, then the Colts, Miami, Patriots again, and they got Miami to finish off the rest of the season. Man, doing these podcasts, man, your mouth just really gets dry. I need some water or something. But yeah, so Buffalo's starting to hit that little wall where it's just Buffalo turns into Buffalo, and they remind us why they currently got the longest playoff drought in the NFL. And I really feel bad for Bills fans because Buffalo, they're not. Let's see, how do I want to talk about Buffalo? They've been playing like a good team. They started off 6-3. Or 6-2. I think they started off 5-2, 6-2. I can't remember exactly. I think they went 5-2, then went 5-3, then 6-3, and now they're 5-4. So they started off 5-2, and now they're 5-4. Yeah, started off 5-2, now they're 5-4. Sorry, I got all mixed up right there. But LaShawn McCoy, teams are starting to game plan for him a lot more, and you're starting to see that they're starting to stack the box against him. So he's not really doing well. And then Tyrod Taylor is just, I don't know, he just had a bad game against the Saints. Against the Jets, he didn't really play too bad, but that offensive line is what's killed him in that game. So the Buffalo really needs to figure out what they're going to do going forward. I don't think they should be hitting the panic button yet, but it's looking like Buffalo is going to do that thing where they just really just choke it at the end and don't do well. Let's see, what other teams? Jacksonville. What's interesting to me about them is that they didn't play a good game on offense at all. And Blake Bortles had to throw the ball a lot more than he probably should have. He threw it 51 times, but they were still able to pull out that game. I know it was against the Chargers, and the Chargers do not win close games. Like, even if they were to try, like, you could put the Chargers first and goal at the 1-yard line, 4 downs, down by 3. All they need is a touchdown. They're not going to get that touchdown. It's just, I don't know if it's just a prophecy or something like that, but the Chargers do not win close games. But let's talk about Jacksonville since I brought them up. Okay, so yeah, like I was saying, the offense didn't play well. Blake Bortles only completed 28 out of 51 passes. He threw 2 interceptions. Leonard Fournette only had 17 carries for 33 yards. So you see, like I said, their offense just didn't play well at all, but they're able to pull out these games and then get a win. That's what good teams do now. Jacksonville's finally starting to go from a young team that has potential. They're starting to shift over and become a good team. Good teams, when they face adversity, they still find a way to pull it out. And that's exactly what Jacksonville did. They got the win in overtime. Like I said, it was 20-17. Jacksonville's now 6-3. But yeah, now we can start. Jacksonville's now a good team. I feel we can start calling them that. I know that we've only been 9 games into the season. Well, they've only played 9 games. They've won 6 of them. But Jacksonville, yeah, they're starting to turn into a good team, and we can start taking off, they're a young team with potential label off of them. Next up, they got the Browns, then they got the Cardinals, then the Colts, Seahawks, Texans, 49ers, and Titans. You know what? Jacksonville has a good chance. Let's see. I think that I'm almost positive they're going to beat the Browns. So that's going to be 7-3. Then they can beat the Cardinals. It's 8-3. Indianapolis 9-3. I'm going to give them a loss against Seattle, 9-4. Win against Texans, 10-4. And then they're going to beat the 49ers, 11-4. And then against the Titans, that game's probably going to be for the division. I know it's still early on in the season, about 2 games past the halfway point. You could see that Jaguars-Titans game get flexed to Sunday night just because that's probably going to be for a divisional game right there. So, yeah, right now the Jaguars are sitting pretty, and they're most likely going to make playoffs. I think that they're going to end up with the division or at least that 5th spot for the wild card. Let's see how Tennessee, what do I think of them? Right now, they're starting to play good again. Marcus Mariota's hamstring looks good. It's finally at 100%, it looks like. And he's finally... Like I said, he just picked up his playing. When Marcus Mariota is playing good, then the rest of the team is playing good. You got DeMarco Murray. He had 3 touchdowns the other day. And Tennessee, right now, they're 6-3. They got Pittsburgh coming up. That's going to be a tough one. That's on Thursday night. And then they're the road team too, Tennessee. So, like I said, Thursday Night Football has not been kind to the road teams. Then they got the Colts. That's a winnable game. Texans, that's a winnable game. Cardinals, that's a winnable game. Titans, 49ers, I'm talking about the Titans. 49ers, that's a winnable game. Rams, I'm sure they're going to lose that one. And then the Jaguars, like I just got done mentioning, that's probably going to get flexed to Sunday night. So that'll probably be for the division. So yeah, right now the Titans, they're sitting pretty too. They're playing well. They're doing their job. That's all you can ask for. I think, let's talk about Baltimore a little bit. I think they just had a bye. They just had a bye. They got the Packers coming up on Sunday. Then they got the Texans. Baltimore is a team. They're 4-5 right now, but you can't really ever sleep on them. They'll probably end up like 9-7. Just somehow they'll probably win 5 out of their next 7 games and still be fighting for the wild card because that's just what Baltimore does. Let me see their schedule right here. They got the Packers. That's a winnable game. Texans. That's a winnable game. Detroit's going to be tough. Steelers are going to be tough. Then they got the Browns, Colts, and Bengals. You know what? Yeah, I'm sure. I'm going to call it right now. The Ravens are going to end up 9-7. They're probably going to lose to Detroit and the Steelers. But Ravens are going to end up 9-7. I think that I'm not even sure who's going to end up with this last wild card spot. Buffalo's a team that's looking down. Miami's pretty much taken themselves out the running just about how bad their offense have been. Oakland, there's the team that's going to come out and sneak up on all of us. Started off bad. They're 4-5 now. The Oakland Raiders are going to be the team that's going to take that 6th wild card spot. I'm calling it now. Okay, Buffalo's going to choke away that spot. Baltimore's going to come close, but they're not going to finish. The Raiders are going to be the team that takes that last wild card spot. And you know what? If the Raiders make the playoffs and they finally have Derek Carr there, be excited, Raiders fans, because you know what? There's a good chance that they're going to make some noise in the playoffs. If they were to finish 6th, they're going to have to face a team like Kansas City. Yeah, they're probably going to have to face Kansas City because I think it's going to be Pittsburgh and New England for that 1 and 2 seed right there. And I like the Raiders against Kansas City, and I like the Raiders against any AFC South team. So you know what? Watch out for those Raiders. Like I said, actually, I'll mention it later on in the podcast. It's kind of some sad news for the Raiders, but yeah, I'm going to pick the Raiders right now to be that team that finishes with that 6th and final wild card spot. They got the Patriots this Sunday. 1 o'clock Pacific time, 1:25 Pacific time, if you want me to be exact, and then 4:25 Eastern time. Yeah, so they got the Raiders are coming off a bye. They just came off of a Sunday night win a couple of weeks ago against Miami. So if the Raiders were able to figure out maybe some little, just patch up the defense a little bit, just to where they got a chance. Derek Carr is finally starting to play a lot better than how he was early on in the season. Amari Cooper, that's the key right there. That guy needs to understand that his hands aren't made of bricks, okay? You can catch the ball. You have fingers and thumbs like me. You can catch it. You're a professional receiver. That's literally all you got to do, okay? Amari Cooper starts catching the ball. Michael Crabtree, we already know he's going to do his thing. Watch out for the Raiders, okay? I'm going to pick them right now. That's going to be the team that ends up with that that second wild card spot, which would be 6th, and they'll probably end up against a team like Kansas City in the playoffs. So It's going to be fun to see. Let's see, the Raiders got the Patriots, then they got Denver, the Giants, the Chiefs, the Cowboys, Eagles, and Chargers. It's going to be tough, but the way I'm talking about the Raiders right now, I think that they're going to be able to pull out some wins, maybe against the, I'm not even going to say against the Eagles. I think that they got a good chance against the Patriots. They can beat Denver, they can beat the Giants, they can beat the Chiefs, they can beat Dallas. And yeah, really, the Eagles are the only team that worries me about them. That's going to be a Christmas Day game, Christmas night game. Let's see, is Christmas on a Monday night this year? Christmas is indeed on a Monday, so that's going to be a Monday night game against Philly. That's going to be a fun one to watch. So yeah, the Raiders, I'm going to pick them right now as that team who's going to finish with that last wild card spot, and watch out for them Raiders. But I can't do it like the fans do. But yeah, so that's all I got to say about teams in the AFC right now. Was going to talk about Miami, but I already went on my rant about them in the first segment. There's not really much to talk about them anymore. They're done. So, yeah, that's what I think about the AFC. As always, for our last segment, pretty much just going to talk about anything that's interesting me in the NFL. I'll probably give my college football playoff rankings, since I think that's when the committee does it, on Monday or is it Tuesday? I can't remember exactly, but I'm going to give you my rankings, talk about why, and then, like I said, we're just going to do news and notes around the NFL and wrap up the show, so stay tuned for that last segment. It's going to be a fun one.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA, from the UFC to extreme cage fighting. They got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back to the GSMC Football Podcast. Man, this song always makes me sad, because it's like one of those intro songs that, you know what, yeah, this is the end of the show, and I love talking football, so it's always sad when it's the last segment, but it's always fun, because this is my favorite segment to do, because I pretty much just get to talk about whatever. But I mean, I get to do that for most of the show, but this is pretty much what's going through Jesse's brain type of segment for this last segment, for the fourth one. So let's get into it. Actually, let me recap the last one. If you missed that last one, or like I say, you just need a quick reminder. We talked about the AFC teams. I talked about which teams were interesting me, which teams are on the come up, and said some good things about the Raiders. I said some good things about pretty much all the AFC teams I talked about, actually. I said good things about Pittsburgh. I said good things about New England. I said okay things about Kansas City. Said some good things about Tennessee, Jacksonville. Said some good things about Baltimore, and I said some good things about Oakland. So let's see, am I going to say good things about anything else? We'll find out. But first, this is a football podcast, so I'm going to talk some college football. Saturday, Miami pretty much did whatever they wanted against Notre Dame. Notre Dame should have just stayed on the bus and just waited for 3 hours. There's really no point of them to get off. Miami just, like I said, just dominated the entire game. Alabama had a little scare against Mississippi. Not even a little scare. That's a big scare. Alabama had a big scare against Mississippi State. Auburn just pummeled Georgia 40-17, I think it was. Oklahoma beat TCU. Baker Mayfield's going to win the Heisman. I'm calling that right now. And like I said, Notre Dame lost, so they're going to lose their spot in the top four. Georgia's going to lose their spot in the top four. Clemson won, so they're going to stay in the top four. So I'm going to give my top four rankings, and it might surprise you. It might not. You might like it. You might not like it. I guess you're just going to have to find out and listen. So let's get it started. So at number 4, yeah, I'm going to start off with number 4 instead of number 1. At number 4, I have Clemson. I know they won, and they were the 4th ranked team, and the number 3 and number 1 ranked team lost, so you'd probably expect, why not move Clemson up? No, I'm not going to do that. Clemson's going to stay where they are. Okay? Yeah, like I said, Clemson's staying where they are. Number 3, I got Oklahoma. They just beat TCU. They were the 5th ranked team. They were ranked ahead of Miami. You're probably thinking maybe Miami should be number 3 and Oklahoma should be number 2. No, I have Oklahoma at number 3 again. These are just my opinion. You can disagree. I'm fine with that. You can agree. I'm also fine with that. I'd rather you agree. But if you disagree, we can still be friends. But yeah, so Oklahoma at number 3. Like I said, Baker Mayfield's going to win the Heisman unless somehow he just blows these last 2 games. I think you have 1 game or 2 games. I can't remember exactly. But Baker Mayfield is my pick for the Heisman now. At number 2, I have the University of Alabama. And that's probably going to surprise some people. The committee probably disagrees with me, and they'll probably have Alabama at number 1. But Alabama had trouble against Mississippi State. They barely won. So let's go right here. At number 1, I got the U. The U is officially back. Miami University. I call them the U. I suggest you do too. But yeah, right now I got the U at number 1. If I were to pick, that would be my top 4. Miami. And if Miami, I'm going to say this. If they wouldn't have, they would have played Notre Dame and made it like it was a close game, but Miami still squeaked it out. I would have had Miami at number 2, but since Notre Dame has pretty much been beating up on everyone so far this season, just dropping 40 points at will, not turning the ball over, and then they come into Miami, and Miami just pretty much shuts down that offense, and Notre Dame, I think they turned the ball over at least 3 or 4 times, was one of those. So the fact that Miami just pretty much just did what they wanted against Notre Dame is why I got them at number 1. And like I said, I know it's probably surprising because, like I said, they were ranked number 7. Some people are probably going to have Oklahoma who think that they should be ranked higher than Miami, and Alabama. I'm sure the majority of people, probably about 90% of people think that Alabama should be the number 1 team, but I'm going to give it to Miami. They dominated on Saturday, and pretty much I know it's 1 game, but Miami just got me really excited for how they played against Notre Dame Saturday. I'm out here thinking, you know what, maybe Miami's going to make it to the national championship. Maybe they can win that. I mean, they still got to beat Clemson in the ACC championship, and I would just hate if Miami were to win out for the rest of the ACC regular season, and then the ACC championship comes up and then Miami loses. It would kill me if Miami were to lose that one and the committee's like, oh, Miami lost, let's knock them out. Miami played like a team who belongs in the top 4 regardless of how that ACC championship goes, which is going to be a fun game because Clemson's not a knockoff. I'm not even trying to take anything away from Clemson. I just think right now Miami, Oklahoma deserve to be up a lot higher. Well, not a lot higher, obviously, just a spot or 2 higher. So we'll see how that all goes, but that's my top 4. We'll see what the committee thinks. Hopefully they agree with me because I'd really like to see Miami at number 1. But let's get into some NFL news and notes. Raider fans, you're not going to like this one. On Monday night, the Raiders broke ground on their new Las Vegas site for where the stadium is going to be. I know, Raider fans, it stinks. I don't want the Raiders to leave either. Okay, they belong in Oakland, and if they were gonna move, like if they had to move, they should have just Mark Davis should have just moved them to LA. No reason to move them to Vegas. Okay, the fan base is gonna go down. Okay, Oakland Raider fans are the best fans in the world, and I'm not saying Raider fans. I'm saying Oakland Raider fans. There's a difference. Trust me. I know you're probably thinking, what is this guy talking about? All Raider fans would say, no, they're not. Okay, Oakland Raider fans are way different than Raider fans. Oakland Raider fans are a team of the city and the team that play there, okay? They're the reason why the Raiders continued to sell out after that 2002 season because, you know, we've all known after 2002, the Raiders were a complete dumpster fire. Really couldn't do anything right. They were no better than the Cleveland Browns as far as how they ran their front office. And those Oakland Raider fans continuously showed up to the games, continuously sold out the stadium, and continuously supported their team. So it's a shame to see the Raiders leave Oakland because that's where they belong. And like I said, I mean, I don't want them to leave Oakland at all because, I mean, I'm not a Raider fan or anything like that, but it's just, I know Raider fans, okay, I've seen how they act and just how much they love their team, and it's just, the Raiders shouldn't be leaving Oakland. It makes no point to send them to Vegas either. You're not Mark Davis I'm going to make all kinds of money. I don't know, dude. I understand it's a business. I can't really hate on Mark Davis for going after his money, trying to make more. But as far as like a sentimental type of thing, the Raiders belong in Oakland. It's garbage how they're going to Vegas. Okay, it's garbage. I'm going to say it's garbage that the Raiders are going to Vegas. Like I said, if you're going to move them to LA or don't move them at all. The Raiders belong in Oakland, but sorry, Raider fans, that stadium is happening. That team is moving. So I guess just get used to it, or you're going to have to just find a different team. Let's see, what else? What else do we got? Jerry Jones. I know that the owners, again, I'm not good with how the clause is or anything like that, but the owners got this clause to where Jerry Jones acts up enough, then the owners can invoke a clause where they run a procedure to where they can't take the Cowboys away from Jerry Jones. I'm on Jerry Jones' side right here, okay? I understand that there's a good chance that he's fighting against Goodell's contract extension because of the whole Ezekiel Elliott thing. But you know what? I mean, bigger picture, Rodger Goodell is judge, jury, executioner. The players aren't fond of him. I'm not sure how coaches feel about him, because coaches are pretty much robots. But yeah, I know the players. I know the players are really, they don't like him at all. The players do not like Rodger Goodell, and that's shown over the years. And as far as the NFL goes, I'm a huge players guy. Okay, whatever the players want, I'm for it, because you know what? They're the ones out there who are risking injury and going out there every Sunday and Monday and Thursday for our entertainment. So I'm always gonna have the players' backs. I'm always gonna have the players' backs as far as this goes. But yeah, I mean, if I'm Jerry Jones, I mentioned it on Monday's football podcast. If I'm Jerry Jones, call the owner's bluff. Okay, I'm not really sure. I don't understand like how extensions work for Goodell. I mean, the NFL. I mean, whether you agree on the topics that have been going on, and I'm not gonna get into those topics. I mean, I'm sure if you just think hard enough, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But there's been a lot of stuff going on. Whether you disagree or agree, the NFL really isn't in the best place right now. And Rodger Goodell really, and like I said, I'm not gonna give my feelings on it right now, because I'm just gonna speak from how the NFL is right now from an outside looking in standpoint. Right now, the NFL is really going through kind of like a weird time, and Rodger Goodell just hasn't done well to bring it in. The players are really doing, the players are doing more, I feel, to the players are doing more to try and please everyone when they probably shouldn't. The players are doing a lot right now to try and fix what they're trying to protest and work on right now. The players are acting on their actions, and they're trying to make a difference, okay? And Rodger Goodell, I feel like he's caught in the middle, and he doesn't know what he wants to do. He knows that the owners make him money, but he also knows that the players have a lot of power. So, and plus with that whole judge, jury, and executioner type of thing with Rodger Goodell, I don't like that at all. I don't like how he gets to make the decisions. And it really, I don't like Rodger Goodell. I'm just going to go out and say it. I don't like Rodger Goodell as an NFL commissioner. Okay, I know I'm not the most informed person with how his duties are as far as being commissioner and all that. But from what I've seen so far since I've been watching the NFL, Rodger Goodell just hasn't done the best job. Don't like how he handled that Tom Brady situation. Do not like how he handled the Ezekiel Elliott situation. It seems like he's trying to make an example out of Ezekiel Elliott. And I understand that, but he should have did that with... Should have did that a long time ago. He should have did it with Ray Rice. Should have did it with Josh Brown. Should have did it with Greg Hardy, but he didn't. I mean, he suspended them for a couple of games, but that's it. I know Ray Rice is out the league, but I mean, the only reason why he's out is because of the tape that came out. But I'm not even gonna try and get too much into that. But Rodger Goodell just pretty much handled everything that's came out poorly, I feel. So that's why I'm on Jerry Jones' side. Just to get back to it all, just circle back. That's why I'm on Jerry Jones' side. Okay. And it's just, I don't like Goodell really all too much at all, but that's all I'm going to say about that. What else do we got going on in the NFL? Do we got any good things to talk about? Let's see. Ezekiel Elliott, he's going to be training outside of the country during his suspension. He's going to come back like Rambo or something. Not really sure. Steven Jones confirmed it, and I'm not sure what Ezekiel Elliott's going to be doing outside of the country training. Like, what he's going to... Actually, no, I'm reading the article right now, and it was Steven Jones who said that he gives Zeke credit because it was his idea, and I think Zeke is doing this because he wants to just get away from the distractions and pretty much just focus on football, and more power to him right there. That's a big move right there. I know he's been in the news a lot as far as the NFL goes for reasons I'm not going to get into. Either you know him or you don't, but yeah, it's good that Ezekiel Elliott, it looks like he's getting his head on straight. I think Zeke is a good guy and a good player. You might disagree, but as far as going forward, it looks like that he's trying to take steps to where, he becomes a football guy. He focuses on football. So, yeah, that's what it's looking like. Let's see. What else do we got in the NFL? Let's see if we can find one more note. Let's see. Oh, let's talk a little bit about Vikings and Teddy Bridgewater and Case Keenum. I think I mentioned it in the second segment when I was talking to NFC and talking about the Vikings. I'm going to mention a little bit about it right now. Mike Zimmer has been pretty quiet on who he's going to be starting from week to week now that Teddy Bridgewater's back. I understand Teddy Bridgewater's a good quarterback, but Case Keenum needs to be the starter going forward. And that's that. Do not change it. Because let's say you do throw Teddy out there and he's not playing well. Let's say he loses you a game. That's maybe a game Case Keenum could have won you. So you don't even want to do those what-ifs type of situations. After the season, if you want Teddy Bridgewater to be your quarterback, then do that. Trade Case Keenum. But unless Case Keenum goes down with injury, he just starts playing terrible. Do not throw Teddy Bridgewater out there. I think Case Keenum should be the quarterback going forward. And I think that's what's gonna happen, but I think Mike Zimmer should go out there and say it. I understand Teddy Bridgewater, like I said, I understand he's a good quarterback, but right now Case Keenum is the guy, so they shouldn't change that. But yeah, that's going to be the last note or interesting topic that I have to talk about. It was a fun show throughout. We talked Monday Night Football for the first segment, then we talked NFC in the second, AFC in the third, and hopefully you didn't nod off, and hopefully you listened to everything for the fourth segment. But if you did nod off, it's cool, no hard feelings. But we talked about interesting news and notes going on around in the NFL. I gave my college football top 4 rankings, and yeah, that's going to wrap it up for today's show. It was a fun show throughout. Once again, this is the GSMC Football Podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Tapia, and we'll talk to you next time.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.